This is a story about Russell's love for the goats. Russ was a quiet and gentle boy, born and raised on his family's farm. He grew up surrounded by animals and nature, and it was here that he developed a deep love and appreciation for goats. From a young age, Russ would spend hours playing with the goats, watching them graze in the fields, and helping his parents take care of them. He found them to be curious, intelligent, and affectionate animals, and he enjoyed spending time with them more than anything else. As Russ grew older, his love for goats only grew stronger. He would spend his days helping his family run the farm and tending to the goats' every need. He learned everything he could about these fascinating creatures, from their behavior to their diet and care. Despite the hard work that came with running a farm, Russ never lost his passion for goats. He found solace in their peaceful nature and the simple life they led. To Russ, the goats were more than just animals. They were his friends and family, and he couldn't imagine his life without them. One day, however, Russ's love for goats would take a terrifying turn. It started with strange noises outside at night, and the goats acting more aggressively than usual. At first, Russ thought it was just a phase, but soon, things escalated. The goats became increasingly violent, attacking Russ and his family with a ferocity that was unlike anything they had ever seen. They tried everything they could to calm them down, but it was no use. It was as if the goats had been possessed by some kind of evil force. As the days went by, Russ and his family's situation grew more and more dire. They were constantly on edge, never knowing when the goats would strike next. They started to barricade themselves inside the house, but even that didn't keep the goats at bay. This is the story on how the loving everything eaters got a little too nippy. The curse on the goats. One night, while Russ was asleep in his bed, he heard a strange noise coming from outside. He looked out the window and saw a group of goats standing near the fence. They were staring at him with their cold, dead eyes, as if they were waiting for something. Russ tried to wake up his parents, but they were sound asleep. Suddenly, the goats broke through the fence and rushed into the house. They were hungry and vicious, and anything they came across, they ate. Russ and his family tried to fight back, but it was no use. The goats were too strong and too many. They chased the family through the house and out into the fields. The family ran for their lives, but the goats were relentless. For years, Russ and his family were hunted by the goats. They tried everything to stop them, but the goats were always one step ahead. They destroyed their crops, killed their livestock, and made their lives a living hell. Eventually, Russ, after a long time without any goat or random things going missing, except tools events, Russ had lived a good life. That is, until his demise on his hopsital bed. His family thought they were safe, but they were wrong. The goats found their way into the hospital and made their way to Russ's room. They were starving and desperate, and Russ was an easy target. The goats tore through the hospital room door and devoured Russ. His family watched in horror as their beloved son and brother was consumed by the monstrous creatures. After that night, the goats disappeared, leaving behind a trail of destruction and death. No one in the town knew where they came from or why they were so relentless. But one thing was for sure, anything they came across, they ate. 70 years had passed, and the small rural town had become a ghost town. The once vibrant community was now abandoned, with overgrown fields and dilapidated buildings. But even in the deserted town, something sinister always lingered. So, be careful where you move, as you might choose the haunting farm from where the goats had come from, or the town where they continue to linger to this day. Stay safe.